Okay, coming around. Monster fourth quarter from Ja last night. Ugh. Game-winning layup, 18 in the fourth. Grizz win. Lead the series 3-2. Anyone who thought that the Wolves were going to upset the Grizz left sorely disappointed. Nick, what did Ja Morant prove with this performance?
Well, Ja Morant proved that every, few decades in this country, we have an all-time gaffe. Quick history lesson for my colleagues. Did you know, about 145 years ago, Western Union was offered a patent? And they were like, nah, we're good with our telegram business. The person who offered them the patent was Alexander Graham Bell and was for the telephone. They were like, no, we don't think that's going to work. Bit of a gaffe there. About 65 years ago, pardon me, there's a man named Dick Rowe. He was auditioning two bands. One of the bands was the Tremellos. He signed them. The other band was the Beatles. He's like, nah, don't trust their guitar player.
Swing and a miss.
25 years ago, Excite.com was offered to buy an upstart tech company for $1 million. That company was Google. CEO of Excite.com was like, nah, I think I'm going to roll with Excite.com. And a week ago, Kevin Wildes surveyed the sports landscape and decided to abandon the most electrifying man in sports entertainment for this collection of doofuses from Minnesota who, despite Anthony Edwards' greatness, can't get out of their own way. Because Patrick Beverley's telling people they're too small, and Karl Anthony Towns is calling people on the phone, and D'Lo is taking terrible shots while they are blowing games. So, Wilds, what Ja Morant proved is that this is an all-time gaffe in sports takery history, and I don't know that you, or to be totally honest, this show can recover from it.
Okay. Well, first of all, we will definitely recover because I will be a beacon of hope for the Minnesota Timberwolves by proving how to rebound. That's all that game was. How many rebounds did the Minnesota Timberwolves have to just let bounce past and grabbed up by the Grizzlies for second chance points? And Broussard, I mean this with all of my heart. I've been watching basketball for a long time. This might be the silliest team I've ever watched. And granted, I've only been a fan for a week now. But they are in Springfield. They should have a special corridor. And it should say, the silliest teams ever. And it's just all the Grizzlies and the one time the guy, I forgot who it was, tried to do a layup on his own basket to get a triple-double. That's it. Excuse me, all the Timberwolves. Whether it's Cat trying to do a Dirk impression, bouncing the ball off his foot, Patrick Beverley doing the too small, Anthony Edwards having one rebound and 0 assists. 0 assists. Chris Finch moved the offense around a little bit. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Russell, and you could see this. He's like, I've heard of the dream team, but I am first team, meme team. When D'Angelo Russell had the ball, I'm like, you know what? This dude is thinking about his celebration before he even takes the shot. He's like, I'm gonna shoot this, and then I'm gonna do this. Yeah, I'm the man. And it's a brick off the backboard. Add to that, in a playoff game, we get a free throw violation from the three-point line. When does this happen? And Anthony Edwards said, I was going to get a steal. I decided to get a steal. In a tie game with no time left, so Ja gets a layup? So things aren't going great. But we're going back to Minnesota. And series is not over.
Oh, my gosh.
But things aren't going great.
Wilds, well done. Nick, thank you for the history lesson. Wilds, that was well done, because you're absolutely right. It's what I said, what was it, game 2, whenever they blew another game previously? They are silly. They are dim-witted. But there's a benefit to that. You don't know. When you're silly, nothing sticks. Ignorance is bliss. They don't don't know what they just did. They don't know the history of the importance of Game 5 in a tied series at 2-2. They have no idea. So they'll probably come out, and in fact, I'm predicting, I think they're winning Game 6. They're going to come out in Game 6 like nothing happened. Like they didn't blow a thing, and I think they're going to force a Game 7, Wiles. But, Nick, let me get this back on track. What did Ja Morant prove?
Yeah.
Ja Morant proved what we really need to see with all the young stars. You know, all the guys that on Tuesday nights in January, they put up 35 points and they look great in their second year. All the guys that wow us with big plays in December and in February after the All-Star break, all that stuff. We got to see what do they do when the moment gets big, right? Are you really about that? Do you really have the heart? Do you really have the fortitude? Do you really have the basketball character that when all of the NBA world is focused on you because it's a playoff game, will you fold? Will you shrink? Will you melt? Or will you excel? And Ja Morant proved that he's built with the right stuff. Because check after,
100%.
Speaking of silly, Karl Anthony Towns, 9.5 minutes left, great shot, three-pointer right here. And then what does he do, Wiles, to your point? He shushes the crowd. First time in the playoffs in 4 years, second time in nearly 2 decades for the franchise, and he's getting cocky. And Ja, I don't know if Ja saw it out of the side of his eye or whatever, but from that point on, Ja Morant was incredible. Look at this. Ja was struggling. And Ja hadn't had a great series up to this point, but 18 points in the last 9 minutes, 12 in the first 3.5 quarters before that. Look at the field goal, and the real thing I want to point to is the free throw.
Free throws.
Because a lot of guys can make a desperation shot when they're, and I point to Joel Embiid with all due respect to Embiid. When you don't have to think, just throw it up. You know, nobody's going to kill you if you miss it. Just throw it up there. A lot of guys can hit that. But when you can go to the free throw line and you have to think about, I was 2 for 7 in the first 3 quarters. I'm only a 75% shooter. I'm not really all that from the line. Man, the game is on the line. This is big. This is game 5.
Right.
And you sink 9 out of 10. Ja Morant, Nick, proved
That's right.
that he's here to stay because he's building the right stuff.
Hey, listen, we're debating whether or not, Jason Tatum's been admitted to club superstar. If and when he gets escorted in, and I think he is going to be escorted in, he's going to see Ja Morant there. And Ja Morant, some people would say it was premature, but when you know, you know. And that cuts both ways, which is why Wilds' abandonment of this team for that team is so awful. But I would go a step further on Ja, Broussard, because we could show a different graphic, which was what Ja did after Patrick Beverley told him he was too small. He scored 13 straight points to win the game and was 6 for 6 from the free throw line. In the final 4 minutes, look at this. This is Patrick Beverley's telling you you're too small. Every other Memphis point is scored by Ja Morant, including a critical 3, 6 for 6 from the line, and the game-winning layup. He did all of that. But Wilds, I actually, even though at times on television we're rivals, I actually love you. So I would love to let you off the hook. The problem is this. You had I could watch that all day, but I'd actually, if I could, I'd like to see Wilds, as great as that video is. You could have so many opportunities to know who Minnesota was and is. Exhibit A would be the entirety of D'Angelo Russell's career. Exhibit B would be the entirety of Patrick Beverley's career. Exhibit C would be the entirety of Karl Anthony Towns' career. Oh, but it changed with Ant. And I think Ant's going to be a star. But need I remind you that at the end of the regular season, when they were fighting for playoff positioning, do you remember the game against the Spurs that they almost blew? Do you remember why they almost
I
blew
kinda
it?
liked it.
Because Ant couldn't help
Yeah.
himself but gun threes because he was going for a 50-point game. Remember, the game was over, and Anthony Edwards is just taking early shot clock threes that let the Spurs back in it in a critical spot. I love Ant, but let me put it kindly, they're immature. Unkindly would be they're a group of doofuses.
That is
and you
kind.
abandoned the Memphis Grizzlies and the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. And by the way, spoiler alert, America, his abandonment, he's acting like he regrets it, but he's so bitter about his own bad choices, in about an hour, he's going to disparage that Ja dunk. He's going to tell us about, back in my day, there were 38
What?
dunks better.
Disparage?
He's so warped by what he's done. So I'd love to let you off the hook, Wilds, but I can't.
I'm not. Okay, first of all, we're only an offensive rebound away. One offensive rebound that we could pull down, and none of it matters. Wolves, I'm still with you. The Wolf Pack will howl. Oh, Wolf Pack. All right, let's move on. Let's just talk about the Hawks.
Wilds, quickly.
Go, Broussard.
Quickly,
Please,
Wilds.
I did the Wolf howl.
The show.
What?
I was thinking about what you said. The show, will it rebound? The show's going to rebound, and here's why. I am going to become the Ja guy. All right, Knicks got Luka.
Oh,
you got the Timberwolves.
Yes.
I got Ja.
Yes.
I'm taking Ja.
Yeah.
All right, I'm riding with my
Yeah.
man Ja Morant and his